Here we go again, episode 2 of CyberBytes Show Up, and I'm talking to the one and only Bryan Solari. To know Bryan is to love him, and if you don't know him, you're clearly not running in the right circles. I sat down with him to talk about AllOutScale, his security creator marketing business that has gone completely gangbusters. And it's not just because Bryan is the guy, really, he's my guy, but because creators have made such an impact on the way brands market today. You cannot scroll through LinkedIn anymore without seeing content from folks like Daniel Miessler, Matt Johansson, and Ashish Rajan. Those are just some of the amazing creators that Bryan represents. So if you are a cyber marketer looking to take a leap of faith into the world of creators, go talk to Bryan and tell him I sent you. Enjoy. Bryan Solari,
I know.
I am so excited that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get started, I wanted to tell you something that you have indirectly helped me live out my gangster mob dreams, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
You know, in The Sopranos or Goodfellas or whatever, there's always that one character that's like, I got a guy.
Yeah.
You are now my guy. So if I have a client,
very Italian.
If I have a client that's like, I want to talk to this influencer or this content person, I'm like, I got a guy.
Yeah.
And I call you up.
That's so cool. I'm so excited for you guys, what you're doing. It's really
I'm excited for you.
You're like one of the best people in the industry. I feel like what you guys are doing is going to be so impactful for
I appreciate that.
Your customers, and yeah, we really enjoy working with you.
Okay, so CEO, founder, AllOutScale. How did you get started?
Yeah, it's a crazy story. To cut it short, I mean, I was always really interested in content and new media for sure. When I was working in consulting, I knew some people that were building newsletters, namely Clint Gibbler at TLDRSec.
Mm-hmm.
The story really is, I took a job and a big pay cut, and in that moment, I realized that my wife was also pregnant. And so Clint called me and was like, oh man, you know a lot about sales. Do you want to help me with TLDRSec and help me with ads and sponsor engagements and stuff like that?
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know anything about it, but I picked it up and taught myself with Clint's help. And yeah, one thing led to another, went really well. And then I started working with Daniel Miessler and Matt Johansson and Chris Hughes and all these amazing, talented creators. And from there it just scaled into I saw this problem, right? Which was you would have a brand reaching out to all these different creators, and bless their soul, it's impossible to get a hold of creators.
Yeah.
Because they're so busy, and also it's impossible to know if they're a great fit. And so I would see the same template email go out to 3 or 4 different inboxes, and I said wait, hold on, that doesn't make any sense. Let's figure out how can we help creators find the best brands, and how can we help brands through agencies like yours figure out who are the best people to work with.
Okay.
And so that's really where it all started to come together. Is hey, what are the main things creators can help with? Who's good at what? Who's in your ICP? Let's try to imagine what this could look like under a campaign, right? And start to figure out who's good at what and who would be good for which brands.
That's what I like
Adding
about working.
Structure,
yeah,
right?
That's what I like about you, because that's what I like about you and your clients, because it's not just this Swiss cheese template, right?
Yeah.
It's not cookie cutter. Every single engagement is super customized, and I think it's fascinating that you play such a heavy role, not just at the beginning, but throughout the entire thing, where you'll say to me, well, what about this podcast, or why don't we do it around this, or what about that? And I just think that that's such a great partnership that you've developed, not just through your clients, but with vendors like me, for example. So tell me, how do you kind of structure your day around all of these incredible people that you're working with? What does your day-to-day look like?
A lot. I mean, it's always on. So 24/7.
Well, you're a founder too.
People everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Mike Privette's in London, Ashish is in London, Clint's in the Bay. You have people spread out. John's on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So basically you're going end to end. Normally what I'll do is I'll actually start with creators that we've just recently taken on and start mapping with my day. Hey, who could benefit from working with this creator? Or which brands would be good for this creator, and start to itemize that. But honestly, man, it's so busy. A lot of it is just tactical and figuring out how to put the pieces where, and then working with folks like you on basically program management, right?
Yeah.
I would love to say it's more strategic than that, but a lot of it's just figuring out what do we think is going to work best. My background, I came from security, so I fell into marketing. I understand marketing because I've seen 10,000 touches of engagements like this, and so I can see what works and what doesn't. It comes down to authenticity, right? It comes down to ICP fit with the brand of the creator. Like if the ICP lives in the audience, and that'll work, right? Generally. And so what my background is, I came from the security world. So I was like deep in the trenches of security, whether it was like application security, cloud security, AI security, like web app security, whatever it is, right? GRC. And so our superpower as a company, my co-founder started At Stake, was one of the founders of this consultancy that sold it to Symantec, and then he started Modisano and sold it to NCC Group. So his whole background is deep vulnerability research.
Okay.
So our superpower is we understand security well enough to know that when a founder or an agency with the founder or a brand comes to us and says like, hey, we want help figuring out where our audience is, we know generally where that audience resides across the creators. Some of them speak executive, right? Some of them speak practitioner. There's hackerish creators. There's GRC creators. And so we know how to like guide and place people into the right division, right? Into the right subgroup of audience, people that have been curating audiences for years in that world, and be able to place really well or give guidance on like, hey, you should try this out because we know it'll work.
What you do is so complementary to what I do and what we do for our clients, because at the end of the day, it's all about what are the things that we are doing to touch and directly reach their ICP. And I think with media, with earned media in general, it's becoming really difficult to break through, whether it's a tier 1 business outlet or even the trade publications where a lot of the actual like technologists are reading. So how are you sort of counseling your content creators too? Like, you have to stay authentic to who you are, because the reason why you're getting paid to do all of this amazing work is because of the credibility that you have in the space. Yeah.
The reality is that authenticity is the most important piece of the puzzle for creators. We always say like the audience is the number 1 customer.
Yeah.
Right? And so what that means really, like practically, is that you say no a lot.
Oh, okay.
Like you say no to probably 80 to 90% of brands.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
For that one creator.
Okay.
Because if a creator, like, I don't know, I won't, like, if there's a really hackerish creator and a GRC company comes in,
well, that doesn't
like,
make sense.
Help us with ISO 27001, like, and getting this report out there. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
So we say no a lot to a lot of. There's also a lot of AI generated outreach from companies that aren't really like legit players, right?
Yeah.
And I mean that nicely, but like there's a lot of companies that are like building minimum viable products with AI, and then like they have like this really thin product, and they're like reaching out to every single creator under the sun. So what we counsel creators on, and what we do a lot for them, is like, let's figure out like that thin slice of the brand world that you should actually be working with, and then go after that because you're actually interested in that brand and you're actually interested in that space.
Yeah, because then it's legit.
And your audience is like, yeah, that's a really cool product, or that's a really cool message.
Yeah.
Or actually that report was really helpful and I learned a lot from it, rather than like feeling like it's pushed on them, right? Which pitchforks come out with the audience. They always know it, right?
It's very skeptical.
Yeah. Security and sales go to like oil and water.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to like make sure that you're true to your audience. Also, you don't want to oversaturate too. Like, you need to be really careful about the gigs you take on.
No, for sure.
And
because
like,
then you're just going to lose it all, right?
Yeah. So I think that's what I tell creators is like, make sure that when you're doing sponsored work, that it feels real and authentic and you're actually excited about it. And if you can't find that in yourself, where you're like, this doesn't really make sense, just don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. Because there's another creator that'll be like,
it.
That's amazing and I really want to get that out to my audience, right? So.
Give me 3, I was going to call them hot takes, but they're not really hot takes. But give me like 3 best practices for a marketer or comms professional to work with either a company like yours or with going directly to creators. Like, what are the 3 things that they should absolutely be thinking about before that outreach even starts, or even throughout the engagement? So
there's 2 types of, to me, there's maybe 2 or 3 types of engagements. There's 2 main ones for digital, at least. There's content creation, which is like, I'm going to sit down and do an interview, or I'm going to have a creator do a deep dive blog on what our company's doing and the why behind the what, and interview the founders and get all this source data. And you know, there's all kinds of content creation. You can do webinars, for example, right? So there's content creation, and that's really important, but even more important is distribution. Like, content got really cheap to make. right? In the last, at least average content, got really easy to make in the last year, I would say, with AI.
Okay.
Like if you have a good tone and you have a good prompt and you have enough data for the model to learn about what you're doing, it's pretty easy to generate average content. But the hard part is distribution. Like it got more, because there's so much content, there's so much noise, the hard part is distribution. So what I recommend like companies do is really think about, can you build that one piece of like a report or research or something that is source data, meaning only you as a brand could have this information, and it's valuable and it's educational, and your audience is going to get something out of it where they say, hey, that made me smarter, or that made me look better in front of my boss, or I shared that with our team and it made us better at our jobs. And can you get that into the hands of a creator that has hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of followers they've curated for years, that are going to be like, that is amazing source data. I couldn't have gotten that anywhere else. This company gave me something super valuable and now I trust them. And that's what generates trust.
Okay.
So that's like my number one is like, yes, creators can create content and that's great and it's really valuable and it's educational and it drives brand awareness. But if you can build something that you know works, and then we can act as that distribution funnel.
Yeah.
Right? Creators can act as that distribution funnel to get this out into the world.
Okay.
So I recommend like focusing on build the best piece of content that you can.
Which is not easy, but
it's very difficult. But companies do it over and over again.
Yeah.
And because if they're talented and they have researchers or they have founders that are technical or they understand their core audience really well, it's doable and it happens every week.
And creativity too, right? Like you got to think of fun and interesting ways to get the eyeballs on it, because everybody's competing for the same thing.
A little bit of it too is like marketers' instincts, like where there's smoke, there's fire. So if you put out like a state of report and you see an uptick and you see website visits going up and you see downloads going up, that's like a piece of material that you can put into the like creators world, right? As long as they're the right creators, where suddenly the blast radius of this piece gets much larger. I was in sales, I was in enterprise sales for 12 years, 15 years, I don't know. And like the most frustrating thing to me would be like, we'd have this great piece of research or content or even just like an informative blog. And people would be like, hey, go send this to your customers and prospects. And I'm like, great, but that's gonna be like, get that out to 40 people. Like, is it valuable? Sure, but like, it's not doing anything for top of funnel. And I feel like that still happens today. And you can really subvert that and improve that by just getting it out into the right creators' hands.
Love that.
Yeah.
What else? Anything? Closing words, thoughts?
I would say like reach right now I would say trust is number one. Like, trust is almost more important than reach right now. You've got to build, there's so much noise. I would say the overuse of AI is making every company sound the same.
Yeah.
Like I always say this, like the first 30 seconds of every company's pitch right now, this is overgeneralizing, but many companies' first 30 seconds of their pitch sounds exactly the same. And they only get to differentiation in the last 5 seconds. And I would say take that 5 seconds and build your brand around that.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what you should be focused on in the creator world. How do you differentiate? How do you drive differentiation? How do you stand out from the noise? And yeah, that's probably my biggest advice.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, fun.
You're the
so
best.
Excited. All right, take care.
You're
Thank
the guy.
you so much. Yeah.